What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to the channel. As I promised, it is April. It is draft month. It is 2 weeks away from the day of filming. This is Thursday, April 10th. The draft is Thursday, April 24th. 2 weeks away. As I promised, draft content is ramping up. So we're back with another mock draft, exploring some new scenarios, taking a look at a couple different picks. Again, I have people in the comments saying like, oh, this would never happen. My team would never take this. You don't know that. The draft's unpredictable every year. You can never be certain about something. That's what mock drafts are. They are mocks. They are exploring different scenarios. You were never... Well, you could have a perfect mock draft, but chances are high. So that's why we explore these different scenarios, see what your team could possibly do. If I gave the same pick to your team every single time, it would get boring, right? We want to try to explore. But unfortunately, it's probably boring for Titans fans. Because I give Cam Ward every time. It's the most likely scenario to happen. However, it shouldn't be boring because he's not a boring player. He's really fun. Electric arm, great improvisation skills. He just plays hero ball sometimes, right? He holds the football for too long, will force passes, will make some bonehead decisions. But if you get the best version of Cam Ward, you're getting a guy who I think can be a future All-Pro. I think he's by far, in a way, the best quarterback in this class. Nobody stands up to him, in my opinion. At pick 2... Me personally, I'm a Browns fan. I would take Abdul Carter here, but it's looking more like it's going to be Travis Hunter. So we're going to go with Travis Hunter. I think the Browns have been working him out as a wide receiver, and it seems to be the direction he's trending in to be a full-time wide receiver. I think it's tougher to be full-time wide receiver, part-time corner than it is to be full-time corner, part-time wide receiver. We'll see what he ends up doing. Obviously an electric player with a football in his hands, a good athlete, great size. Great production at Colorado, right? Travis Hunter has everything. I just am not sure personally if that's the pick I would go. I would take Abdul Carter. I think there's more value in an edge rusher on the other side of Myles Garrett. That leaves the Giants here at pick number 3, and I think they go Abdul Carter if he's there. I think the Giants just need the best player they can get. I think Carter, for me, is probably the best player in the entire class. He's probably going to be on number 1 on my big board. A great athlete prospect, or a great edge rusher prospect, great athlete as well. Incredible size, great speed. Can go sideline to sideline, can rush the passer. Uses a lot of different moves. Great pass rush plan. Really kind of not really speed to power. He has both, but he utilizes them in different ways. I think he's going to be a very, very good player. And I know you already have a slightly lighter edge on the other side in Brian Burns, who you traded for from the Panthers, but you still like Abdul Carter. You can beef up the pressure on the quarterback. Putting pressure on the quarterback is what helps you win games. So if you can beef that up, that's huge for the New York Giants. The Patriots at 4, they've been kind of a wild card for me. I've gone O-line. I've gone edge. I think we're going to go we're going to get weird here. And then maybe this isn't that weird. I mean, Tedoroya McMillan, you want to get a good wide receiver for your young quarterback in Drake May, someone who you can trust and throw to on the outside. McMillan's big, right? I think 6'5" is what they're going to have. 6'5", 212, 211 around there. McMillan's big, right? So you have that catch radius. He's your typical X wide receiver, deep threat guy, can catch those 50-50 balls, high point the football. Your main issues with him are sometimes effort on tape, as well as can he create separation on routes. He is the most polished route runner, but you have a good frame to work with. You have a guy who's shown production, and I think if you can develop him a little bit as a route runner, you have a number 1 target for Drake May for a long time to come, and that's kind of what you're looking for the Patriots, just any way to get better and help your young quarterback. The Jaguars at 5, this has been chalk, and unfortunately, I do it again. It's Mason Graham. They just need defensive line. Graham fits that. He's a great prospect, great athlete. This seems to be the range. I don't think he makes it out of the first 8. I think the Jaguars are probably his ceiling, but I think the Jaguars might also be his floor because I genuinely don't think he makes it past Jacksonville. If he's there, I think Jacksonville takes him. It's just the position of need and probably the best player available at a reasonable position at this point. So I would go Mason Graham there. Not the Tampa Bay... What am I talking about? The Las Vegas Raiders here at pick number 6. And we're going to go different. We're going to go Jahdae Barron. This is the first time I've given Barron to the Raiders. Reports coming out today that they seem to really like him if they trade down. In this scenario, we are not trading down because I'm not paying for PFF premium to do trades. But, you never know with teams in the draft. If you have a guy you really like, but there's no trade partner, you could still stick and pick him. And I think that could be the case for the Raiders if they truly do love Shedeur Barron. He's a shorter corner with short arms, and I'm not sure how well that's going to play in a press man system in the NFL. He's stuck on the boundary at Texas. He was good. Do I think he could do it maybe in limited quantities? Not full time. I think he's going to end up being a nickel guy who can drop back as well. I really like Shedeur Barron. I just think this might be slightly too high for him. But in this scenario, the Raiders fall in love with their guy and they take him at 6. The Jets at 7. Reports came out today that they are not looking to take a quarterback. They like Justin Fields. So what are you going to do here? Let's build around Justin Fields. Let's go with Will Campbell. Campbell is probably going to move inside the guard, and you have some solid guards there in New York. You could try him at tackle as well. He kind of has 2 chances. You can try him at tackle, see if he fits. See if he sticks, can handle with those shorter arms. If he can't, you move him inside the guard. He can be an all-pro guard. If he does stick at tackle, great. You have a tackle. I think just getting an O-line for Fields, which he really hasn't had so far in his career in the NFL, is probably your priority 1. Campbell is versatility. That's where I would go. The Panthers at 8. We're going to go with, I believe they'll have him listed as linebacker, Jalen Walker. I do think Walker goes very high in this draft. Listed at linebacker, he's going to be rushing the passer. Maybe as an edge, maybe mainly as a blitzer, but he's going to be rushing the passer or be on ball in some capacity. Great athlete, incredible speed, good instincts as well. He can drop back in coverage. He's a versatile linebacker, kind of one of those pieces that you need. You can be able to move around on your defense just to be able to create havoc, cause chaos. And I think that is what Walker brings. I think the Panthers would probably target that. They just need to beef up their defense. You saw some growth out of Bryce Young. You think you might have something there with him, so you need to give him some help on the other side of the ball so he's not pressured to score 40 points a game. Saints at 9. We're going to get really weird. We're going to go Shedeur Sanders. Do I think this will happen? No. Do I think it could? Yes, that's why we're exploring it right here. Sanders doesn't have a clear landing spot, in my opinion. I don't think the Browns go with Shedeur Sanders. I don't think the Browns go quarterback unless Ward's on the board, and that's very unlikely. I don't think the Giants take Shedeur Sanders. I don't think the Raiders take Shedeur Sanders. The Jets definitely won't. Panthers have their guy. So where does that leave you? Saints could. You never know what the Cowboys could do. Maybe they don't like Dak anymore. The Colts, are they committed to Anthony Richardson? I mean, it would be kind of a bad move, but at the same time, they haven't shown commitment to Richardson. The Seahawks, I mean, you traded Geno Smith, you signed Sam Darnold, but do you have a long-term answer? No. The Steelers, I think, would be the team that would really want him. They'd have to move up to get him. But in this scenario, the Saints take him. Maybe you're not in love with Spencer Rattler. Maybe you like what Shedeur Sanders brings, the demeanor, the accuracy. He's not a great athlete, doesn't have the strongest arm, holds the football for too long. He does have elite accuracy, and he has shown production in college as well. That's maybe what you really fall in love with for him. And he goes to the Saints at 9. Bears at 10. Genty's on the board, and that's an easy one for me. New head coach Ben Johnson loves to run the football. Right, he did that in Detroit a lot. 2 running backs, DeAndre Swift he had for a while. Mainly David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs was the man. But he likes to run the football. That's what really made Detroit's offense so successful. And if you can get a guy as prolific as Genty, you can run the football. He's your bell cow, workhorse guy. That's the pick right there. At 11, the Niners, we're going to go tackle. We're going to go with Armand Membu. I think he ends up being a top 15 pick. I think he probably ends up being the first pure tackle off the board. I'm not considering. I think Campbell could again, but probably not a pure tackle. Kind of just depends on the team that picks him, how they view him. But we go Armand Membu here. I think he's really, really good. If you haven't gotten into Armand Membu tape, I don't blame you. He's a name that's kind of come on very quietly for the draft. 6'3", 314, a little short, but he has the necessary arm length to play tackle. He will stick there. And obviously, you just need to beef up that offensive line. You've got Brock Purdy, try to protect him, and tackle's their biggest weakness right now over there in San Francisco. Had a down year, get Membu, maybe you can bring the the life back to the offense next season. Cowboys at 12, we're going to go with Matthew Golden. Golden met with them today as I'm filming this, took a picture with Jerry Jones. That seems to be where a lot of the scouts are having Golden go now. The connections are there. Texas, you keep him in state. Golden's a really good route runner, 5'11". He can play on the outside, play in the slot, catches the football at a ridiculous rate. He doesn't really drop it, and he's fast. The 40-yard dash he ran was ridiculous. I think this is a very, very solid range for Matthew Golden to go. I really like the pick there. Get another guy you can throw the ball to that isn't named CeeDee Lamb. The Dolphins at 13, they've been a tough team for me to pick for. I normally go Malachi Starks just to replace Javon Holland, who you lost in free agency to the Giants. And I could do that, but I think just in the interest of exploring a different scenario, we're going to go with Kelvin Banks. This is like the highest I've had Kelvin Banks in months. I think it's a solid landing spot. It makes sense. They need tackle. Teron Armstead just retired. If you can stick him at tackle, great. I know some guys have seen, I think Bleacher Report had him listed as a guard, which was a little confusing. I think most would have him to stick at tackle. I don't think the length is any concerns from anyone. Maybe just those play styles on the ground a lot. But you need an upgrade on offensive line. In general, you get a guy who can play either spot in Kelvin Banks. That makes a lot of sense. Colts at 14. I mean, I'm sorry, but I do it every time, but it just makes so much sense. Tyler Warren's such a good player. He's versatile. Lined up in inline tight end, slot, outside, running back, center, quarterback. I mean, this dude lines up everywhere. He's versatile. He's a good downfield threat. Good route runner as a tight end. Very reliable hands. Maybe not the craziest athlete, but it's not really the thing you're totally worried about as a tight end. Can he get open? Can he catch the football? Can he be reliable? That's what you want, and that's all Tyler Warren brings for you there. Maybe can help bring out the best in Anthony Richardson. At 15, you have the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go with Jahad Campbell. Falcons need the best defensive player they can get. If you think it's Campbell here, he played off-ball linebacker, came in as a 5-star edge rusher prospect to Alabama out of high school. Campbell is good. He's really good. He's really, really athletic, instinctive, can drop back into coverage and be that off-ball linebacker. I'm listed at 6'3", 244, 21 years of age. Can drop back, be that off-ball linebacker, tackle really well. He's also great rushing the passer, especially in blitzing sets up the middle. I think that's where his best value is going to be. The Falcons just need to improve on defense. Makes a pick there. I really like the fit. I think Campbell at Atlanta would get an A for me, A grade for me, if the draft happens. And if that's what happens, I'd give it a very high grade. Cardinals at 16. I mean, Cardinals have been another tough team for me to pick for, just because I'm not sure the direction they want to go. But I'm going to go with Shedeur Stewart here. I really like Shedeur Stewart. He's probably a top 10 player in the class for me. Maybe I'm just buying into the athleticism, but he tested ridiculously at the combine. He's insanely huge. I mean, they're going to have him listed here, 6'6", 290. He could be that 3-4 defensive end, be up the middle. I think he's big enough, honestly, if you wanted to pull him around as well and kind of run some different looks with him, you could. A lot of people get caught up on the production, but if you look at the way that Texas A&M used him in their defense, he just wasn't ever set up to one-on-one rush. He was more of a space eater, causing disruption. He was pushing the quarterback out of the pocket, just wasn't the one finishing the play. So I'm not really worried about the lack of production. Stewart's a really good player. I think the Bengals would be very mad that he went before them. So we're going to go Cincinnati now. I think you're still looking on the defensive line. You just need help on the defensive line, the front seven in general. We're gonna push up Derek Harmon here. Harmon's kind of a wild card. I think he could go in the first round. I also think he could last until the early second, but he had a very productive year at Oregon, can rush the passer, can tackle really well in the run game. He just brings everything that you want as a defensive tackle, as a defensive lineman, and I think the Bengals you need something. You really need something. Seahawks, well, I mean, they need guard. They need interior offensive line bad, but it's the Seattle Seahawks. Are they actually going to take interior offensive line? They don't really like to do that. Let's just go best player available for them, and that's going to be Malachi Starks. The Seahawks are a team I've struggled to pick for because what their needs are is something that you're not taking right now. I mean, you could definitely consider edge. I mean, that is a need that you could really. There's good edge players on the board right now. But I think Starks is too good to pass up at pick 18. He's a top 5 player in the class for me. Ridiculous 2023 tape. Still had a very good 2024. He's not as good as that 2023. Tests really well. Great athlete. Incredible instincts. He's going to be a long-time safety. He can be your single high or be kind of up the middle in a cover 3. I think he's incredible. Maybe you can start to bring back a little Legion of Boom action if you want. Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen, Malachi Starks. You never know. You got a young core there in the secondary. The Bucks at 19. Mike Green's on the board. You need edge. You need to rush the passer. That makes sense. Great athlete from Marshall. A little bit shorter arms as well. But he makes up for it with speed, production, a lot of production. I believe he was near the top of the NCAA in sacks last season. I like Mike Green a lot. I think there were some off-field allegations. I'm not sure that's going to affect his draft stock. I haven't seen anyone really taking too much consideration for that. I think he's going to go top 20. We have him here at 19 to the Buccaneers. 20, the Broncos. We're going to go running back. Yes, I do think 2 running backs could go in this class. In the first round, I think there is a chance that 3 could go. I mean, this is a very good running back class. I know you can get one later, but the top of the top is still better than what you might get in the third or the fourth. Hampton is an incredible player. I know you might be scared off with the Javonte Williams, North Carolina, Martin Hampton, North Carolina. There's no connection just by the fact that they went to the same school. I mean, they're completely different players. Hampton, I think, is a much better prospect. I think you're getting more of a surefire running back in Martin Hampton. And if you can develop a run game there next to Bo Nix in Denver, you have a very dangerous offense. Already made a little playoff push this past season. I think you can kind of jump even more next season with Amari Hampton. The Steelers at 21. It's Jackson Dart. I don't like it. This isn't what I would do personally. But signs seem to be pointing to the Steelers targeting a quarterback. I know I had some comments last time that were happy about that. Aaron Rodgers doesn't scare you away from a first-round quarterback. Does Mason Rudolph scare you away from a first-round quarterback? No. I know Mike Tomlin didn't really attend the pro days. I don't care, right? Jackson Dart is the guy. If they were to go first-round quarterback at 21, and this is the board, right? Dart's the guy you go for. You're not pushing up Milroe or Howard or Gabriel. That's not happening. Dart's a slow processor in a one-read offense with a good arm strength, not the most pinpoint accuracy, and he's an okay athlete. I'm just not sure. I'm not a huge Jackson Dart guy. You've been following the channel for a while, and you know. But that is a pick for the Steelers at 22. Normally I go Colson Loveland. We're going to change that up and push Luther Burden here at 22. I know a slot receiver when you have Lad McConkey, but Burden, I think, can play on the outside, can switch up, and he just adds another weapon. You just need pass catchers, honestly, for Justin Herbert. Adds another weapon there in Los Angeles. Almost wanted to say San Diego. That's been years since they moved. In Los Angeles, electric with the football in his hands, great runner, great route runner, smooth cuts, smooth with his hips. I think Burden there. The fit might not be great, but the player is great, and you'll find out ways to work. Even though the fit won't always be great, with great players, you'll find a way to make it work. So we'll hope Harbaugh can do that there. The Packers at 23. Not exactly sure where I want to go with the Packers. I might go edge. I'm going to go Michael Williams for them. Williams is really good. Another athletic freak edge rusher out of Georgia. Going to be a one-on-one edge in a 4-3, 3-4. You can play both. 6'5", 265. He has the size to do that. He's fast. Great first step on him when you look. Watch Michael Williams on tape. That always stands out. The first step is so explosive for him. If you can develop a little bit, he's young. He's a slight bit raw. If you can do some developing there in Green Bay, you have a great edge rusher for a long time. The Vikings at 24. What do I want to do with the Vikings? I mean, there's an easy one. We're going to do it. We're just going to make the easy pick with Will Johnson. They desperately need corner, boundary help. Johnson is your typical boundary corner. Great size, great coverage skills. You worry about the injuries and the lack of top-end speed, but you still have a very good player, and I think 24 is a solid range for him. I think around these 20s, maybe late teens, is a good range for him. And it desperately fits a need as well for the Vikings, so I think that makes a lot of sense. Texans at 25. Last time, Egbuka was off the board for them. This time, he is on the board, and we're going to go for him. That Ohio State connection, C.J. Stroud, Emeka Egbuka, you get a solid slot wide receiver who's not the craziest athlete, but he's a great smooth route runner, finds the open space, and catches the football reliably. That has a lot of value in the NFL. The Rams at 26. We're going to go to offensive tackle, and I gave them Josh Simmons last time, I believe. We're going to do that again. Probably had the best tape of a pure tackle in this class, in my opinion. Just dealt with some injuries. I think he's really, really good. He has the size. He doesn't really get beat off the edge, which obviously is what you look for. ACL injury isn't always great, but you think, okay, if he can come back from that, you just need tackle. You need somebody to protect Matthew Stafford. Simmons fits that well here at 26. The Ravens at 27. What do I want to look for the Ravens? I'm maybe trying to go somewhere a little different. I'm going to go with Maxwell Harrison. Ran really, really well at the combine. Tested really, really well. He's like that height, weight, speed corner. 6'1", 186. Very fast. Solid in coverage. I think, you'd like to develop a little bit more. Some coverage IQ. But the Ravens are known for making good draft picks in the first round. They normally hit on them. And I do think Maxwell Harrison is a really solid player. I think he fits their kind of running gun style that they have in the secondary, or at least that they used to have. They're trying to rebuild that. So we'll go him there at 27. The Lions. The Lions have been a team I've loved to give edge. So we're going to do it. We're going to go with Donovan Ezaraku. I believe if he wasn't the NCAA leader in sacks last year, he was top of it, like 1 or 2, I believe. A really productive edge rusher. Great speed. His issue is he's small, right? He's short. He's 6'2", 247. He's short. He's light. But he had produced really well. You like what you see on tape. He's played well in, game tape, really. But he's played well every time you've seen him. You like what you see. Are you going to ignore the athleticism and the measurables for really solid production and good tape? I think the Lions would be a team to do that. So we go with Ezaraku there. When you lost Aiden Hutchinson, you had no pressure on the quarterback. You need somebody on the other side of Hutchinson, and if you have another horrific injury like that again, you have a guy that you can trust, or you hope you can trust, to get some pressure on the quarterback. The Commanders at pick 29. They need a lot of offensive line, wide receiver. If you're looking at the wide receiver on the board right now, do you push any of these guys up? I quite like Jaden Higgins, but I don't think you push him into the first. If you're looking at the interior offensive line, Gray Zabel, Donovan Jackson, do you want to push any of those guys up right now? I'm not entirely sure. Do you just go best player available, which probably leads you to Kenneth Grant? Do you go with a tight end who's kind of, explore the different scenario. We're going to go with Colson Loveland because he's not your typical tight end, right? He is listed as a tight end. He plays tight end, but he's more built and fits like a wide receiver. 6'5", 245, he's lighter, right? He's a much lighter tight than you normally see. He can still block, but he's a better pass catcher down the field. Smooth operator, fast, great route runner, reliable hands, right? You like what Colson Loveland brings to the table. You can run some 2 tight end sets there. You get Jaden Daniels, a pass catcher who isn't just going to be a boundary wide receiver. He can line up in a multitude of different spots. It's a scenario we haven't explored before, so we might as well. Again, you never know what can happen come draft night. If you think your team's like, no way they're going to do this, I'm going to leave an angry comment down. You don't know that. And then they end up doing it, and you look like a fool, right? So we'll ignore that, but keep that in mind. At 30, the Buffalo Bills. Pressure on the quarterback. Can never have too much of it, especially if you're a competing team. So we're going to go with James Pierce. Pierce is a complete wild card because he's small, he's short, or not short, he's light, he's 6'5", he's light, but he's very fast, tested really well. He has some concerns, like guys like Daniel Jeremiah, who I really, really trust in the NFL draft space, isn't a huge fan of James Pierce, but I am. I really like James Pierce, love what he can bring, huge speed, or big speed, not huge, big to describe speed. Fast speed, tons of speed off the edge for James Pierce. If you can gain a little bit of weight, a little bit of muscle, develop him a slight bit as more than just a pure speed rusher, you have a lot there to work with. I think he kind of, not like a direct correlation to Greg Rousseau, but he has some of those same like raw athlete kind of. If you can develop, you have a great player. And the Bills go edge there. Chiefs at 31. Well, we'll go with the guy in Donovan Jackson who can play both tackle and guard. He played guard and then kicked out to tackle for the national championship run and was good. Do you think he can stick at tackle? Most probably don't think he can. I don't think he can. But if not, you play him at guard and you have a spot starter and tackle due to injury. I think that's a great fit there in Kansas City. And then the Eagles. And the Eagles have their pick of the litter, right? Because you know what they love is D-line. You know what they lost is Milton Williams and Brandon Graham. You have Kenneth Grant and Walter Nolan both here to improve that defensive line. Which one do you prefer? I think you probably go with Kenneth Grant as your Milton Williams replacement. A guy up the middle who's great in the run game, can offer some pass rush juice, good size and production alongside Michigan. Anytime you tried to watch tape of Mason Graham, you always saw Kenneth Grant as well. Of course, we always have the PFF ads popping up on the screens. You can never get rid of those until those get away. I'll just talk here. But Kenneth Grant does fit really, really well in the Eagles system. It's a pick that makes a lot of sense. I don't know if he'll last that long, but if he does, you've got a really, really good player there and a good fit. So we're back here. You guys can take a look at the draft. We'll go over to here. Do a slow scroll. See where all the players went, who picked them. So let me know down in the comments who your favorite team picked, who you want your favorite team to pick, what you think of the selection that I made for them, as well as who's your third-ranked quarterback in the class. For me, that's Kyle McCord. I want to know who your guys' third-ranked quarterback is in the class. But with that will be the video. More mock draft content coming, more draft content in general, maybe some guests coming onto the show, maybe some guest appearance on other shows I'll let you guys know about. But yeah, for now, that will be the end of the video, and I will see you all in the next one.